Hey YouTube. Well, I have something I want to show you here. Some pictures. And I received this comment today and I of course looked it up. Oh. So let's go back here and read the comment first and then we can roll the pictures. Assi77 says these are Anticrepuscular rays, an optical phenomenon caused by the shadows of the clouds in front of the sun. The sun rays, not covered by clouds, appear to converge at the horizons opposite the sun. And one reason I believe that we are seeing this more and more often is because we do have clouds in our atmosphere, of course, but we also have chemtrails. And if you have seen the 4 episodes of Liquid Skies before you watch this video here, I think you get an idea what it is I'm talking about. The chemtrails, I believe, is possible to be sprayed in liquid form, and they are also lighter apparently. Maybe they are sprayed in particulates too. Well, that's a possibility, but they can come in liquid form. And our atmosphere is so saturated with these particulates, so it will appear more and more often that we will see a phenomenon like this, which is quite spectacular. So that explains that video I have shown where I'm saying I'm not sure what's going on. That's up for discussion. It's no longer up for discussion what it is. It is exactly as Assi77 says. It is shadows in our atmosphere cast on the opposite side of the sun. So it looks quite spectacular, but it does not have anything to do with a second sun or Nibiru or any kind of shadowing in front of the sun, except is our clouds doing it. But with a saturated atmosphere as we have with the massive spraying, we could actually call it global geoengineering warfare against global warming, according to David Keith from the Geoengineering Project. Well, there's a problem with that. That is, they're spraying metals in the atmosphere. Metals, when you are putting heat towards those, they are reflecting the heat back, directly back, meaning they might block the sun and cool down the atmosphere in their feeble attempt to cool the planet down. But on the other hand, when the sun is set, normally we would have something which is called excess heat, meaning in the nighttime atmosphere is cooling down, and that's perfectly normal because much of the Earth's heat is running back out into space because the sun is not present and keeping it down. And when they're spraying a blanket of chemtrails in our atmosphere, this is a chemtrail picture actually, this heat escaping from the Earth's surface back into space is being trapped and radiated back towards Earth and actually contributing to further heating of our planet. So I hardly believe that that is really what's going on with the geoengineering. I believe that the geoengineering or depopulation or whatever you want to call it, it is toxic to the human, and it's toxic to all organic organisms what they're spraying in the atmosphere. These metals are not healthy for anything which is alive organically at all. Aluminum is associated with Alzheimer's, and we have an explosion of Alzheimer's disease on this planet. It is staggering. And we also have an explosion of respiratory illnesses in humans and also animals due to chemtrailing. So I'm not dismissing the opportunity or the possibility that Nibiru do not exist. Not at all, because the Egyptians did write something down that they saw in the atmosphere or in space or in heavens, and it wreaked havoc on their soil and destroyed their land, and they completely decimated Egypt after this incident. And that happened during the Exodus, that this object was in the sky. Saint Hildegard is also speaking about a great comet. Mother Shipton is also speaking about a great comet. A fiery dragon across the sky 5 times this earth shall die, she says. And it could just be that this object do indeed exist. And it is a returning object. It might even have a 360-year orbit instead of a 3,600-year orbit, because we also have an incident 360 years ago, which we call the Dark Ages, where Earth did not have a good time at all. It was, to say the least, horrible conditions that we were living under. And there was not really any explanation scientifically for why that occurred. And there have been other incidents down through time of more or less upheaval of the planet. I don't know why, and maybe that's just a cycle that Earth is going through, or maybe the term 3,600 years is more correct, that if you go 3,600 years back from today, we have the Exodus. If you go 3,600 years back from the Exodus, we have the flood. And that's a great possibility that there is an object out there which is being used in this manner, a sort of, I don't know, an instrument of sorts. The Anunnaki, which is being talked about, I am convinced, and there is nothing you can say out there that can tell me that they are not the fallen angels. They are. They are taller than us, they are more powerful than us, they have technology beyond our imagination, they had powers, and that is described, and that is actually referring to God's own angels, but some of them fell. Lucifer fell, and 1/3 of the heaven followed with him, and they came down here and have apparently decided to destroy what our Creator, God Almighty, has put for us. And they did a damn good job in that back in the days of Noah. And again, with scientific dictatorship as we're living in today, with the help of demons, which were locked here on earth, stay here on earth until the end of times. They are working together on one plot only, and that is to be under the rule and dictatorship of Lucifer himself. That's the plan, and that plan has been in the works ever since the flood. It's not something that just came by some power-lustful men. No, this has been in plan for a long time, and the demons are influencing and promising these leaders power and immortality. Just follow our plan and we will give you what you want. And they believe that lie. And you know, the father of all lies is Lucifer. He even told the world that he do not exist, and now you're believing it. And now there's a lot of people that believes in multi-dimensional beings out there. And whoever is in contact with those, you're in contact with demons. They will tell you everything you want to hear. They can give you what you want, but it comes with a price. One day they will collect. If you cannot collect or give it to them, they're going to make your life a sheer misery. But I'm not saying Nibiru do not exist. They were cast out of heaven. They had nowhere to go. There was no place for them, according to our Lord, for them to be. So they had to create their own, not create, but make their own way of life. The fallen angels, not the demons, they were here on earth. And they're still here on earth, and in great numbers. But the fallen angels had to go somewhere. So just maybe, and as I have said many times, that I believe that Nibiru itself is not a planet, it is a spacecraft housing these individuals, or fallen angels. And I also believe they are sitting on the moon and operating on the moon in close companionship with the dark side of NASA, not the public side of NASA, but the dark side of NASA. I know that the old Marines talking about there's a hangar which is built by NASA sitting on the moon. Well, that might be true. That might be very true. I don't know how they get to space if the concave Earth, as I hope you have seen that program, it was on the video, is it real or is it psyop video about Nibiru. There's a couple of links I would like you to follow and watch it, even though it's a little lengthy. He's indeed talking to a guy from NASA, and he's explaining some things to him that is, yeah, it's provable. So it could be that Earth is concave, that the universe is inside our own sphere. That's a possibility. That it's not the other way around, that we are convex and living on the top side of a circle, but on the inside of a circle. I don't know. I really don't know. But there were no place for them. They had to make something for themselves, a place to be, and maybe, just maybe, just to grab it out of the air. I know that George Lucas, when he made the movie Star Wars, he got unlimited funding from NASA to make these movies. And in that movie we have something which is called the Death Star. A planet-sized spaceship capable of steering, maneuvering in space with great speed and with great power, destructive power. I'm not saying that the fallen angels have an Earth blowing up capability. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that there is a rendition of Nibiru, which is a craft, not a planet. But that craft is orbiting a brown dwarf star, which is also called the dark star, a star that never became a star, and it's just hot but not shining. And they're using the energy for that to recharge their own, their own craft. And we often seen that there is flying objects, and some of them in gigantic sizes, sitting right up on our own sun and looking like they're having a beam between the sun and themselves. So there's a logical explanation for these pictures you're watching here. They're quite phenomenal. So we can exclude the possibility that there is something in space that is blocking the light from the sun and casting these shadows. We could be tempted to believe that there is a planet in front of our sun, or there may be two, like in that picture, and they're creating this. But I believe that with the saturation of our atmosphere with the chemtrails, which is part of a Project Bluebeam barium niobate agent, which is used to spray in the atmosphere to create images, emulate images in the sky for their so-called coming of the Messiah, their Messiah, which is Lucifer. And we have Pope Francis saying that our next Messiah will be Lucifer. And most people on this planet, unfortunately, will believe this lie, and it's in a revelation what's going to happen. Many will fall away, many will also come back, and that's a good thing, absolutely. But we have an explanation here to what it is. It's perfectly natural. The chemtrails is aiding in these spectacular phenomena, but it's not something in space that is blocking us, blocking the light from the sun. It is simply just a reflection in the horizon from shadows cast by clouds. but with the saturation of our atmosphere we would be seeing these phenomena in more and more frequently and more spectacularly. So, over and out. Here's your explanation for that phenomenon. God bless you. Is because we do have clouds in our atmosphere, of course, but we also have chemtrails. And if you have seen the 4 episodes of Liquid Skies before you watch this video here, I think you get an idea what it is I'm talking about. The chemtrails are the Anticrepuscular rays, an optical phenomenon caused by the shadows of the clouds in front of the sun. The sun rays, not covered by clouds, appear to converge at the horizons opposite the sun. And one reason I believe that we are seeing this more and more often, will appear more and more often that we will see a phenomenon like this, which is quite spectacular. So that explains that video I have shown where I'm saying I'm not sure what's going on. That's up for discussion. It's no longer up for discussion what it is. It is exactly as ASI-77 says. It is shadows in our atmosphere cast on your belief it's possible to be sprayed in liquid form, and they are also lighter apparently. Maybe they are sprayed in particulates too. Well, that's a possibility, but they can come in liquid form. And our atmosphere is so saturated with these particulates. So, hey YouTube. Well, I have something I want to show you here. Some pictures. And I received this comment today and I of course looked it up. Oh. So let's go back here and read the comment first, and then we can roll the pictures. ASI-77 says these